Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Jesse Lobbs. This is Pokemalarkey, and it's episode 28 of Indigo League, and it's called Pokemon Fashion Flash. And it might be one of the most annoying episodes that you'll ever watch.
It's one of the best episodes.
It's wild. It's a wild ride, Jesse.
It's so stupid.
And before we get there, we won't spend a ton of time because, Jesse, we're both over here. We're dying. We've had a long night, and we got to finish this recording out. We're still excited, but we're also dying. So we won't spend a lot of time. But, Jesse, I at least just want to ask you, how you doing?
I am doing great. I am living my best life. I'm talking about Pokemon right now. I've had a new Pokemon game. I'm getting, before we turn around, we'll get another Pokemon game. So can't complain, Shawn. Can't complain.
That's fantastic.
What about you?
I'm also doing well. I feel like if we don't at least talk a little bit about how we're doing, that we're both going to have our Midwesterner cards revoked. I am also excited for, even though the digital version is getting bad reviews, I'm still going to pick up the physical version of Grand Theft Auto on the Switch, that trilogy at some point. Jesse, this is kind of a beautiful dichotomy. It's one of the first games that I played at a point when I was much too young to be playing them, and it was making me feel like an adult. And so now it's kind of like a beautiful inverse of where I'm probably much too old to be playing these, 20-year-old games on essentially a small humans video game console. And there's like something...
No, it's fine. It's fine.
There's something that I really like about that full circle. So I will get those. I will enjoy them. I love them all three, but I especially love Vice City. So I'm doing
I
well.
will confess that I have done many terrible things in those games to many prostitutes, and for that I am sorry.
So many prostitutes, Jesse, but they're the only ones who reliably pack cash, okay?
That is true.
Yeah. But anyway, let's step away from prostitutes, both literally and figuratively, shall we, Jesse? And let's talk about Pokemon Indigo League episode 28, Pokemon Fashion Flash. Would you care to give us a synopsis of this roller coaster of an episode?
I would. Fashion Flash. Speaking of prostitutes, Ash, Misty, and Brock continue their travels, and they come to a street known as Breeder's Lane. God. Brock explains...
Which is a really uncomfortable name for a street.
It is. I hate it. Brock explains the street is known for its many salons and beauty parlors for Pokemon. It's also a hotspot for people who want to become Pokemon breeders like Brock. Misty and Ash find a poster outside one of the very prominent salons that features a coughing and Ekans, and they're wearing dresses, and they've got makeup on, and they're wearing just many accessories. Ash and Misty follow Brock into another nearby store ends up being owned by a Pokemon breeder named Susie, who is busy taking care of her Chansey when they come in, and Brock becomes starstruck and just blurts out that he wants to be Susie's pupil. Susie talks to them, and Brock impresses Susie with his signature Pokemon kibbles that not only results in Pikachu's shiny coat, but a Vulpix that is somewhat standoffish ends up loving Brock's food as well. Susie whines that if you just look outside at Breeder's Lane, you'll see that people want their Pokemon to look good, but they're not as concerned with their Pokemon feeling good or being treated correctly. Misty and Ash get into a little bit of an argument because Misty says, it's not a shame to want to feel pretty sometimes, and includes her Pokemon in that. And Ash and Brock tend to agree with Susie. So Misty says, you know what? I'll show you. I'll let Psyduck get all prettied up. They step out to the salon. They get there. Surprise, surprise. Who are our stylists? Jesse and James and Meowth. Misty realizes who the stylists are and panics. Can't find Psyduck anywhere. But fortunately, Psyduck, much like Lassie, has returned to Susie's place to report the danger to Misty and hurry Ash and Brock and Susie over to the salon, where they find Team Rocket having tied Misty up and painted her to look like a clown. So, of course, that's very funny. And we launch into a regular
progression.
battle.
the progression of the face paint and things on her face as they're like working is it's very funny to me.
It's very funny. And we get to our Pokemon battle, and Ekans and Coughing are sent out. And sure enough, the coughing and Ekans from the poster are Team Rocket's Coughing and Ekans. They're still in their duds, their accessories, and some of their accessories help them stand, Pikachu's Thunder Shock, but they keep getting tangled up in their dresses, their clothes, and the battle involves all kinds of silly fashion puns, and it's just fantastic. Um, Susie, Susie tells her Pokemon, if you focus only on outer beauty, your strength will be lost. She orders Vulpix to use Fire Spin, and Vulpix finds the spirit inside himself and uses Fire Spin to spin Team Rocket blasting off once again. Their costumes all charred and burned from Fire Spin. Um, Seeing that inner beauty is in fact stronger than outer beauty, the crowd starts pulling off their Pokemon's flashy costumes, wiping off their makeup, and realizing that Susie's been right all along. Um, as the gang prepares to leave, Susie says Brock's the first person in a while who Vulpix has trusted besides herself, and asks Brock to take care of Vulpix for a while. Brock accepts. Meanwhile, Misty still has her clownish makeup on, and not just Ash does his best not to laugh while looking at her. And we find out that Team Rocket ends up getting chased away by angry customers who feel cheated. And that's our episode, Fashion Flash.
This episode, I can't decide if it's really funny that Misty is so shallow and it's like it's a bit of an inverse of Pokemon Sensation when like Misty and Brock really have their idea and Ash is being a little jackass. In this episode, like Brock always seems like he knows what's going on unless there's an attractive woman around.
That's
But
right.
this one, Ash still being a jackass, but having maybe the right idea, heart in the right place, and Misty being a snot. And I can't decide if I feel bad for her because everybody abandons her and you see her in that line and then she comes out of the store looking like a clown and it's like, I do have some amount of pity for her at that point. And then I love Vulpix. Vulpix is a top tier Pokemon for me. Big fan of Vulpix.
Bigger fan of Ninetale.
Yeah, well, I think tails. The number of tails equates direct. It's a direct correlation to amount of love that I can give to it. And then Susie, I do have a question though. I don't have a lot to say about this episode other than that it's really goofy, right? Seeing all the Pokemon costumes and Team Rocket like trying to run kind of a legit business. Like it's still like a snake oil thing, but like they're selling a product or a service, But then at the end, does Susie just close up shop? She's running this wildly successful business that just like reintegrated all of its customers, but then does she just leave?
Yeah.
But listen, the best way to be a good Pokemon breeder is just to drop your responsibilities and just go.
I'd also like to one of my favorite moments. First of all, if you noticed, once again, there was a moment when James is in drag. Surprise, surprise.
Hashtag always, am I right?
I loved watching Ekans spin around in the dress and look like a gigantic Christmas tree.
Ekans and Coughing are fighting in dresses, and that really it was cute, quite frankly. Like you don't want them to get hurt. She's like, yo, I don't want to hurt the clothes.
I mean, Ekans looks exactly like a Christmas tree. I think it's amazing.
Another scene I really like, just it makes me laugh because I'm really immature. Jesse, don't hate me, but it makes me laugh really hard when Susie tells Ash to massage Pikachu's cheeks.
What is wrong with you?
So many things, Jesse. So many things. But Pikachu, he does let out these cute noises, and it's kind of a cute scene to see Pikachu all content and glowy. It's gratifying to hear that even though Ash, dumb and worthless as he is, apparently is taking good care of Pikachu.
He is. Well, he's only because he has Brock.
Only thank heavens that Brock is there to keep everybody alive.
I really think Ash would have starved to death episodes ago.
I would imagine so. It doesn't look like he's got a lot of extra body fat, and I think at 10 years old, you're just kind of eating everything also. So, yeah, good thing that Brock is there. Thanks, Brock. I don't have a whole lot to say specifically. It's not as wacky as like the last episode. It's just a roller coaster of mostly Misty, what the hell are you thinking, and then laughing right at her face and trying to decide if you're kind of proud of Jesse and James. Like it's a legitimate business that they've set up. They're not stealing money, you know.
That's true. They're doing what they're supposed to.
And people are choosing out of their own volition to buy that product. So there's a weird element of like pride in there for them.
I enjoy how defensive Brock gets when his heart is in it. There's like, I think Ash is like, what makes her such a great breeder anyway? And Brock is basically like, how dare you? Susie's been this, she's been that, she's hugely popular.
I forgot that he lists off all the awards that she and Vulpix
he
have
does
won.
it twice because he does it about Vulpix too. Like Misty wonders if Vulpix has won any awards, and Brock's like, that is a fabulous question, Misty. The Vulpix is the supermodel of Pokemon world. Something. The tails make Vulpix look like a champ. And Ash keeps saying, we get the idea, Brock. We hear you clear and loud.
It's nice that Brock recognizes accolades instead of just appearances of females. Good job.
Yeah,
Good job,
seems
Brock.
like, you know what? It does seem like, at least in Brock's defense, most of the women he has the hots for, you could describe as, talented professionals.
And he's got their background too. Like he's done the creeper thing where he knows what he's talking about in advance.
He is obsessive. He is stalking.
It's more acceptable for him to obsess over the details of somebody famous, where those details are, public. Whereas if he was obsessing over like you or I, like Brock, how did you get that information? That would be more concerning to me.
That is fair.
I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot to say, and also we do have a special guest waiting on the line. So I'm going to go ahead and give Ash a grade, and I think I'm going to toss Ash a B here, but I want to see what you think. He doesn't do anything maliciously wrong, but he does take care of his Pikachu. He acts like an asshole. No Pokemon to be fought or gym badges to be handed.
Can I give him in some classes they just give you a complete,
like a pass fail?
He just passes.
Okay, that's fair.
just in this one, like I don't have any
all he does is rub Pikachu's cheeks.
Yeah.
He squeezes them Pika cheeks.
So I'm gonna say
pass.
Pass.
That's fair. Well, that's fine too. We're oddly amusing episode. If you can get over, I admit it is hard for me to get over Misty at first, but she kind of gets her comeuppance and comes around, so that's good.
She does.
Hello there. Are you guys recording right now?
No.
We are, but not like we are, but not like in a this will be included way.
Yeah.
No. I like to like randomly come onto things, even though that's never happened.
Oh well, in that case, no, Chris, I can just make this. It's too late. We've already started. We're live. F it, we'll do it live. I say that a lot for somebody who does not remember what it's from.
You don't, even though I tell you that all the time. It's from, dang, I forgot his name.
See, now I don't feel bad.
No, Fox News jerk doesn't work there anymore.
O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
Oh yeah, got it. Yeah. So I do. Well, it makes sense that I wouldn't remember that, but you know what? Hey, it's too late. We're doing it live. I'll cut out the part where Jesse and I are just waiting patiently because that'll be awkward for the audio only people. But other than that, no, we're rolling with it. And Chris, we're rolling right into our poke adjacent topic, which is why we invited you here today For everybody out there,
And I'm not supposed to see you right now, right?
you can't
Oh, I'm
see
sorry. You're actually trying to talk.
you can't see anything whatsoever. Yeah, Chris, I told you we're effing it and we're doing it live.
Sorry.
Chris can't see anything, but Chris, everybody else can see whoever is prominently speaking between you and Jesse, and then my face is on screen all the time because I don't know how to change that. So, poke adjacent topic, which just to remind you is not supposed to be like persuasive, and it's barely supposed to be informative. Although since Chris is here this week, I imagine it's going to be more informative than usual. We're just paying homage to something we like. And my friend Jesse really loves Batman Beyond, and I happen to have another friend named Chris Ford, a.k.a. the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter, who also loves Batman Beyond. So this week, that's our poke adjacent topic. And Jesse, I figured I'd let you kind of start it off, just tell us what Batman Beyond means to you, why you like it.
Yeah.
And then I'll let Chris give what I presume is a thorough diatribe.
I will start. And first, let me mourn that Batman Beyond did not last longer than it did. It only lasts for like 3-4 years, like 1999 to 2001, I want to say. And it's like, it's just the perfect setup for a future Batman. You have elderly Bruce Wayne who ends up like taking on Terry Guinness, who becomes the Batman Beyond of the title of the show. It's like, it's the right amount of cyberpunk, sci-fi, cars are flying everywhere. It has the right kind of like energy and lights and colors. It's what I want a Batman show to be. And it's got a little more like if I remember right, and I watched a few clips and I can't remember exactly, but I want to say he kills people left and right. And one of Batman's big things is supposed to be, not killing people, whatever, debatable. But like, I love that it's just like it's already harsher. It has a harsher tone, and I'd give anything to see we've had Batman a million times. Give me a Batman Beyond that's live action. We're fortunate.
Oh, I would
like a few additional comics like Batman Beyond Rebirth, but
yeah,
give me some more stuff. I want more Batman Beyond.
I would absolutely love a Batman Beyond movie. I think that's where it could take another step. Like it can be so separate from any other movie because it takes place in the future, and just a new take on Batman that would be great for this generation. But my history of Batman Beyond, I love Batman Beyond. I think let me go back to when it first debuted on Kids WB. So it ran on Kids WB Saturday mornings, but its debut episode, I think, premiered on a Friday night. It was at a nighttime. So I remember thinking like, this is strange. Like, it was they premiered the 2 first episodes. I remember watching on WB or UPN. I think it was WB definitely at that point. I remember watching it prime time, and I thought this is so strange to watch this kid's cartoon at prime time. Like it was so cool. It made it feel like an event, and so that was really cool. And then, yeah, just some Batman fans don't like Batman Beyond because Terry's different from Bruce, right? And the thing I love about Terry is that he is different from Bruce. Like Bruce Wayne and Batman is like people call him Bat God for a reason sometimes because he's thinking 10 steps ahead of everybody else. He's thought of like dozens of ways to take out not only his enemies but his friends in case they ever go corrupt. Terry McGinnis is like, I am just learning. Like I am fallible. I might get my butt beat a bunch of times, but he's gonna try. And he got so much spunk to him. He hasn't trained with the best fighters ever and the best martial artists in the world. He's just a rough and tough kid who can throw hands, who tries to do good. Also, he grew up in a bad past. Like he went to juvie. he was headed down a different path that somewhat being Batman took him away from. It's interesting. In a alternate comic book, he goes to an alternate universe where his self doesn't become Batman. It's a really good take. But one of my favorite, I don't know if you've seen this episode of Justice League Unlimited. One of my favorite episodes of anything ever, even including Avatar, including anything. My favorite episode is this Justice League episode called Epilogue. It takes place about 10 or 15 years after the events of Batman Beyond. And Bruce is like really old and stuff. And it starts off, Terry is breaking into, if you know who Amanda Waller is, she's the head, she runs the Suicide Squad, but she's done other shady stuff also. He breaks into her place and he's like, you need to tell me why me and Bruce share this certain, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it yet, because it's one of my favorite episodes. Like, he goes to her and is like asking her, and one thing, she's kind of a villain. He's asking her like, why does me and Bruce Wayne share a certain parts of our DNA together? And she's like, oh, well, she tells him this whole long, elaborate story. I won't ruin it for you. It's a really good, really great story. But I'm busy right now. It's okay. I'll be there in a minute.
When you have Chris Ford on, you get more than one guest, and that's why it gets really colorful.
But the thing I love about that episode is that it paints Batman, and not only Bruce Wayne but Terry, in the light of saying like these two characters are absolutely needed for the world of DC. Like, not because they're Batman, but because of who they are inside. Like, they're so important. Also, one of the things I love about Terry, so many people have taken up the mantle of Batman, but to me, Terry is like the only one out of them that I think he does it the best. I love some other ones. A recent one in the comic books is Jace Fox, who's the son of Lucius Fox. He's really good. When Dick takes over the mantle of Batman, Dick, a.k.a. Robin, a.k.a. Nightwing, that always feels temporary. He's always just kind of like in that mantle until Bruce comes back or something. It never feels right. It never feels, I don't know, it never feels complete. It always feels like, all right, I'm just feeling issues right now. But to me, Terry fully encompasses what it means to be Batman. And more stuff about Batman. I love Batman Beyond. I have like all these statues.
Chris, your microphone might have fallen off, but we can still generally hear you.
There we go. I hate this thing.
Perfect.
But, so, how much statues of Batman Beyond? And also other Bruce Batman stuff. I have the action figure mobile of it, which I love. This thing it is like very slick. Probably costs $100 now on eBay. I forgot when I bought that, but it was a long time ago. But absolute love Batman Beyond.
I have just a couple of like I can't contribute anything in conversation because I've like zero experience with Batman Beyond. So I have just a couple of like Wikipedia caliber pieces here, which is that I have January 10th, 1999 for the debut, 52 episodes across 3 seasons, and then lots and lots and lots of crossovers and things like that, and multiple groups of comics or different comic series that he's in, and a couple of video games, some of which are allegedly very good, and one of which is allegedly very bad. I've not played any of them. That's my contribution to this conversation. Chris, I'm getting the sense of some Korra versus Aang in the different same role, different person, and maybe not everybody likes to accept that open-mindedly.
Exactly. I think a lot of people misjudge or mistreated Korra because of her predecessor. I feel like Terry kind of gets that same thing. Like, nostalgia is a strong drug. When people are on it, they don't want to give it up. And I'm not saying that Terry or Korra doesn't deserve their fair share of criticism, but I feel like the criticism that their predecessors deserve doesn't get levied against them as well.
Seems a little misweighted. Jesse, are you there?
Yeah.
Excellent. Any final thoughts, special memories of Batman Beyond?
I remember one episode in particular that has stuck with me for years and years, and it's Terry ends up getting some like stupid home ec class thing.
I knew you were gonna say the egg baby. I knew you were gonna say the egg baby for some reason.
It's so good. He's running around with that egg baby backpack and he's trying to make sure it doesn't get broken. And it's just great. The way he talks to it, Daddy's got to go to work. I just love it. It's so stupid.
That's kind of messed up.
That episode, it's funny because that's like because I follow a lot of animators and creators on Twitter, and I think they're really saying like that might be the only episode that they actually won an award on, even though like a lot of fans don't like that episode. But he's like, hey, we it was fairly successful, and people still talk
That's
about
amazing.
it.
Critical
Shawn,
acclaim.
that one is worth looking up. You should look that one up and watch it. You should watch the whole thing.
I mean,
I
at some
might
point,
watch the whole
I'll watch
thing.
the whole thing, but I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I have at least 2 humans in my life that like to recommend that I watch a lot of things. And I really like football to an extent that I have a hard time explaining. Before I joined this call, I was watching Buffalo versus Northern Illinois live on a Wednesday
Holy
night.
crap, Shawn, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't
It was
know what
no,
anybody-
it was a good game, and that's my biggest issue in life is that I want to watch more things than I can watch. But this is on my list. It's up there. Chris has had me watch at least 1 feature-length film. I'm thinking even 2. Can't
Yes.
recall. And
Jesse, have you seen that episode of Justice League Unlimited Epilogue?
I have not.
Okay, yeah, look it up. It's actually there's a lot of great Batman Beyond episodes in Justice League. There is and also in Static Shock they do a lot of great crossovers. I'm actually wearing the Static Shock shirt today.
I saw
Just pure coincidence. Just all kids WB this morning. So there's an episode called Once in a Future Thing. It's a 2-parter. Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern has to go capture this time traveling guy because he's ruined up the time stream and everything. And he goes in the future, and there's such a great scene of like Batman introducing old man Bruce Wayne to Batman, and it's just really cool. And both of them pretty much are angry at Terry, but like, quiet, not now. and he's like what? And then
Batman speaking. Bat
yeah,
elders.
there's one scene where the past Batman is interrogating a scarecrow, and he has like he's like dangling this guy off of a rooftop, and then the scarecrow guy is like, hey, we've seen files about you, like we heard you don't kill, like you're not that big bad, like why are you the boogeyman? And then old man Bruce Wayne grabs him and he's like, boom, like listen, you're gonna talk, punk, or something. And then it cuts, and like he's just telling them everything they need to know because old Bruce Wayne is way more intimidating than young Batman.
He's old. He ain't got time for anybody's shit. It's
Exactly.
on a timer.
But that's a good one. And then Epilogue. It's one of my. It's one of those episodes I go back and I watch. It has my favorite Batman moment in any medium, any movie of all time in that episode.
Is that the one with the girl on
Wow.
swing?
Yeah.
That's the one I watched. Which, I gotta be honest, the main reason I remember is because of that moment. Fellas, final thoughts? Final wrap-ups? I know
You should
it's
check out
not...
Batman Beyond if you haven't seen it. It's a blast.
That's fair.
Yes. If you want to do just an abridged version, to try and get like some of the whole story, watch episode 1 and 2, probably 3, and then watch Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, and then watch Epilogue. But you should really watch. You should really watch the whole thing. The whole thing is good.
Is it on a particular streaming service at this point?
It is on HBO Max.
Ah, yes, the one I steal from Chris. Perfect. Well, that is our Poke Adjacent topic for today. Chris, thanks for joining us for Batman Beyond. Jesse's going to return the favor and come over to Avatar: The Last Podcasters and talk anime, which is another thing where I will just sit patiently while you guys...
The thing is, I've been waiting to do that episode for a while now for some reason, but I just never got around to it. But we're going to do that episode of what if Avatar actually was an anime, and I'll figure out the outline of it, or the foundation. The outline. No, that's not the word I'm looking for either. Anyway, I'll figure out
yeah, that'll work.
Very cool.
In the meantime, thanks for enjoying, hopefully you enjoyed it, for joining us for Poke Adjacent today, and our topic being Batman Beyond. Couldn't have done it without you because it would have just been Jesse talking to himself.
That's true.
And thank you so much, everybody, for watching Pokemalarkey. My name is Shawn. That right now is Jesse Lobbs. And then if Chris says
I
something...
need to talk now. Here we go.
That was actually really well timed. That's Chris Ford, a.k.a. the Objective Geek. And I'll put all the contact stuff for everybody, like always, down in the description. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.